This is the place where sports opinions collide. Dead in sports. I'm your host, Kenneth B. Inge. Joining me, as usual, we got Nikki Duce.
I'm in San Fran right now, at least in my mind. So yeah,
Why you in
what's
San
going on,
Fran? You know
y'all?
you hate you hanging out with Jimmy G?
Hell not. Well, yeah. Well, off the field, he my guy.
I
You
mean, I'm
know what
just
I'm saying?
saying.
Hey, off the field, he's my guy.
You might want to hang around with him, bro. Beezy 30,
Yeah, what up? What up? What up? What up, though?
Feefo 24/7,
What it do?
God, Nick. And Shelton will be joining us shortly. But yeah, in this episode, what's up, Cats? Weird World. We're going to talk about obviously the last two episodes of The Last Dance, do another redraft, and hit a few I guess a few sports topics that have popped up over the last week or so. So thank you guys for joining us and tuning in and showing up week to week as always. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. Nick.
I know it's not much to report on sports lately, but as far as a little bit of NFL news, the schedule just dropped last week for all the teams, and I just wanted to get y'all thoughts on like the opening weekend. As far as there's a few good games, we got the Texans going against the Chiefs. We got the Hawks going against the Falcons. We got the Bucs and the Saints. The Browns versus Ravens, and the Packers and Vikings. That's all in that first weekend. I'm excited for this. If the NFL season starts on time, I'm excited for it. But based on just those matchups, which teams or which matchup do you guys think is going to be the best, or will tell more about what the season will look like for each team?
Let me see if I can pull this up.
I don't think it's gonna be no. I don't think NFL gonna start on time.
You don't think so?
I don't think it is, man. I don't think I mean, if they and unless they cool with playing in front of no audience or whatever, but I don't know, man. I don't think we might not get the NFL on time.
I think we will. I think the NFL, if we just look at their history and what they're about that shield and they're about that bread.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they don't get the ticket money, that's a very small loss compared to what it would be if you can't even televise it. So I don't see them. Even if they push it back, they're not going to miss the season. The season will go on.
Yeah, I mean, we have to see the outcome of the MLB proposal that went up today. But yeah, man, I know how money works, man, in this country, man, and the NFL are gangsters. I do believe that they will play this season, and I do believe they will try to find a way to start on September 10th with the Chiefs and against the Texans, which I think that could be interesting because who is Deshaun Watson throwing to? And I think that's going to be the question. He's either going to break or overcome this season. So that one has lost its luster or lost its luster. I mean, we didn't know this at the time, but it would have been more interesting to watch that matchup had Hopkins still been on the team. But now that he's not there, it just seems like a mismatch. But I do want to see how they use old boy from LSU. That's really what I would like to see more than anything.
But Ken, the Texans still got weapons. It's not like they lost multiple weapons. Yes, they lost their biggest weapon, but who's the deep threat that Bill O'Brien brought in?
With Kenny Stills?
Brandon Cooks.
No, Kenny Stills was already there. The one you just traded for.
Brandon Cooks, right?
Brandon Cooks. So look, man, they still got weapons. I think that if you were to transplant quarterbacks, you wouldn't be questioning Pat Mahomes with what the Texans still got left. You know what I'm saying? They still got weapons. It's not the same, but they still got weapons.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks, Will Fuller. I forgot the other guy. Yeah, Kenny Stills. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I believe in Watson, but it's just, will Bill O'Brien be able to outcoach or slow down the Chiefs?
And this will be the third time that they face off within 12 months, because they played each other in the playoffs and the Texans were up by 20 plus points, and all of a sudden the Chiefs came back. So I think this will be more about Bill O'Brien's coaching and like what Deshaun Watson's weapons are going to look like. Did he learn from his mistakes from last season?
Mm-hmm. But you know what? Honestly, the team that has me most interested about the season are the Patriots. I really want to see what they do with with the Stidham guy. So I think that
if he has a Matt Castle year, what does that say about both Tom Brady and Belichick?
Depends on what Tom Brady does. It just reinforces what Belichick is.
yeah, well, so that's another one that I'll be interested to see, the outcome of that game and how the Patriots overall perform. So yeah.
So Ken, I got two things. First off, I'm interested to see the Ravens. First and foremost, because I think they've gotten better, but can they get over the playoff hump? I think they'll be there, but can they win in the playoffs? Also, they are the team that's going to travel the least amount this season. I think it's like 6,300 miles total this season. The other one is the Seattle Seahawks, and the reason why is because they're traveling the most. They're going to travel over 29,000 miles just this season. Obviously, they have a winning record on the road. It's not even close in the NFL compared to the second team. But I think at some point with Russell Wilson, they still haven't necessarily addressed that O-line. Russell Wilson took, I think, 48 sacks last year. I'm just how long can Seattle maintain this level of play, devoid of some of the necessary pieces that Russell Wilson needs? You know what I'm saying? In addition to all of the travel. So those are the two teams I'm looking at.
What else does Russell Wilson really need at this point? You mentioned offensive line. Is that the only glaring position?
Yeah, because I think that he has weapons now. Obviously, Ricardo Lockett and DK Metcalf. You know what I'm saying? They're going to do the lion's share of the work. They have a running back by committee. And Russell Wilson's just that great. And obviously, with as much as you're paying him, you're not going to get a plethora of weapons. But I definitely think the last thing that he needs is an O-line. At least one that's going to keep him a little cleaner than it has been for the last 8 years now.
Is this a make or break season for Seattle?
What do you mean by that?
Because, like, do they have a window right now, especially in the NFC?
I think the window is as long as Russell Wilson can play at a high level.
I agree. Yep.
Because I mean, as much as I don't really believe in this team as others, like you still have the Bucs who just revamped their whole squad. The Saints are still there. The Falcons are going to be a top 5 offense, we predict. You still have the Packers. You still got the Vikings. Like, and then on the top of that, even if you get past all those, you're going to have to face Patty Mahomes most likely again, or Lamar Jackson. So it's like.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, so it's like, it's kind of like, when I say make or break, it means like if Russell doesn't win or get to the Super Bowl again within the next year or two, I don't see when he can. And to me, it's just like if you're talking about drafting an offensive line, that takes time.
You know what's interesting about that statement, and I'll let Feefo jump in afterwards. I just wanted to point out that this is the way that football is typically played anyway. Like, getting to Super Bowls are hard. Brady was an exception. Those 2 years the Broncos went, was more or less the norm, and Seattle, the run that they had early on. But going to Super Bowls were rare occasions.
And they still are. They still are. And I wanted to point out something else that I saw. Nick, you talk about Green Bay. Do you know how many touchdown passes Aaron Rodgers has thrown to a first-round pick?
I think it's either 0 or 1.
One touchdown to a first-round pick. And that means tight end, that means wide receiver. That means whoever that can catch the ball, they can catch the ball. So, to me, Green Bay didn't necessarily do anything for them to be better this year. Obviously, they can still trade, but we'll see what they do. Obviously, I think Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks are in the toughest or one of the toughest divisions in the league. But here's the thing. You said, is it make or break? I think that Russell Wilson, just being Russell Wilson, will get you to at least a wild card game by himself. He's that damn good. Make or break, Russell Wilson's already made.
Is he?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, by himself being the man, is he made? Because we talk about that.
Hall
Super
of
Bowl he
Fame.
won, they say the defense, and in the second Super Bowl they say he fucked up outside
But you still got to get there. You still need a competent quarterback that can still get you there and not lose the game at bare minimum. And he's been to multiple Super Bowls already, and we see him year in, year out. You know what I'm saying? The consistency is there. The decision-making is there. The IQ is there. So what else is there for him to prove outside of win more? And realistically, that's not going to always just come down to him. We know that they're not going to lose because of him. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a make or break for me for Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. It's one of those things that, depending on how the season plays out, is the direction that they move forward. Right. So I think Seattle Seahawks are in a reactionary state, meaning that they're in an okay place. They can be better, they can be worse, but I trust the brain trust there in Seattle to make the moves necessary to make sure that they study the course. So that's why, like, when you said make or break, I'm like, they're already made. Like, we trust them. Like, there's certain brands and entities in football that when they make a move, we may question, but we know we trust them. Seattle's one of those teams. Russell Wilson, if he retires tomorrow, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. So with all of that being said, there is no making or breaking these guys.
And see, the thing is, and the reason why I agree and think that he's made is because, yeah, the defense was partly responsible for that Super Bowl. Yeah, he messed up, in the second one, as well. But the defense and the running game was a big part of that. But where Russell Wilson made himself is with what he did after all of those things left, and he was still able to play at a high level. So that's how he made himself. So he already got the ring. He already played in 2 Super Bowls. He's just added to the resume at this point. Like, actually, you can actually look at him as, being a guy that should want to, like Brady, win a Super Bowl ring without the rest of that stuff, win one on his own.
I don't know. I am a big Russell Wilson fan, but as far as, like, when you are trying to defend, like, he didn't even get any. I don't think he got any. I think I saw a stat on either Bleacher Report that he's gotten 0 MVP votes since he got into the league. And that's ridiculous, especially after last season where he was, I think it was between him and Lamar. So it just seems like he hasn't gotten the respect that he deserves as one of the guys. Even though everybody says he's one of the guys, people still kind of overlook him. And that's why I'm saying make or break, as far as not like his career technically, but as far as him being, like, looked at back like 20 years from now as, like, the Peyton Manning of his era, or like one of those guys. Like, we'll mention him, but he won't be looked at as the guy. He won't, like, even Lamar will get a chance to, because of that MVP season, to say, like, he was the guy at least for this year.
He's kind of like Drew Brees. Drew Brees won a Super Bowl, but he became an afterthought. We knew he was good. We knew he was great, I should add. But his name, from the time that we've been doing this show, has always been Brady, Manning, Rodgers, and then you start tacking on everybody else, and Breeze is like 5th or 6th. And even now, he's still somewhat overlooked. But his greatness is still recognized. And I still think that people recognize how great Russell Wilson is. I don't think he needs the MVP votes for that.
Yeah, he doesn't need that type of validation. The validation comes in, out of all of the great quarterbacks in the league right now, he does the most with the least, year in, year out. And that's why this one particular season isn't make or break.
What are y'all thoughts on that Bucs Saints game for opening weekend?
I think it's a good barometer game. I think it'll tell, because obviously we know the Saints are going to be ready, man. The Saints damn near rolled out the same squad. Obviously, in the NFL, there's a lot of turnover, but the core of who and what they are has been relatively the same. So we know they're going to be ready week 1. We don't know what the hell Tampa Bay is going to look like. But if Tampa Bay comes out here, and everybody on this telecast knows how I feel about Bruce Arians, he's going to have them ready. They may or may not look right, and I'm not going to judge them off of that. But if they look good or better than good, watch out. Watch out, because then it's going to be scary. It's not even going to be.
So if they take a loss, you're not going to put too much stock into that.
Nah, because you know what? I think, and I want to take this saying away solely from college football and apply it to all of football. It's not if you lose, is when you lose. You know, and I think at the beginning of the season, obviously, brand new quarterback. We know what Jameis did last year, but this is Tom Brady. We know Gronk is coming in. They have 3 tight ends. I know Bruce Arians doesn't really use tight ends like that. So there's still a lot of figuring out to do with that roster. You know, I saw some rumors that Tampa Bay might be trying to get Leonard Fournette. So I think what we see week 1 isn't going to be what we see at the end of the season. But if they look, like I said, good or better, that's going to be a problem for the rest of the league if they look good week 1.
What do you think, Cam?
I don't think I would overreact either way. You know, the Saints have started slow the last couple of years, and then they go on a hot streak where they win 8 or 7 in a row. Brady's coming into a new situation, and they don't have a lot of time to really get on the field and develop with his receivers and all this other stuff. So I wouldn't put too much stock in it one way or the other. But I think for the Bucs' sake, it would be better if they got to win than the Saints got to win, because we've seen the Saints overcome, you know, losing, you know, their first game. We haven't seen that with the Bucs. And how would the fans react? We know Brady will be, you know, stoic and stern and understand that this is part of the process. But those other guys, like, those guys are going to come in on such a high. They already think it's Super Bowl, and then you go out and lose your first game, and it may feel like, damn, like, we got Brady and we still losing. Like, mentally, how does that do it? And will Brady be able to coach, you know, outside of that? So, yeah. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how it is, but neither one of those teams really excites me all that much.
Where is the Yojics?
All right.
Why are you busting in here like the police?
I don't know.
Oh man, he busted up in that joint.
Daddy?
Dang on Miles, boy.
Garage.
I don't know where's the Yojics.
Well, ask your mom.
All right. Let's move on to a little bit of NBA before we get into our redraft.
Well, hold on. Before you jump into the NBA, I thought this was really interesting. So I don't know if you guys saw the rumors about Brady's deteriorating relationship with Josh McDaniels, and there was talk of friction all this time between him and Bill Belichick, and now all of a sudden this report dropped out that it was Josh. Josh was also part of the problem as well. The reason why this became more interesting to me is that he denied that shit with the quickness. And it's not, the denial is what got me, because he never once denied the shit with Bill Belichick. Not like this. Like, he put the shit on Instagram. Please stop the nonsense. Please be more responsible with reporting. 19 years together and brothers for life at Real Josh MCD. I didn't see any of that for Bill Belichick. It was always, respect on a coach level. This was an overreaction to this report that came out. I thought, and the reason why I just want to mention on the show, that I was like, that is crazy to me. So, like, I always believed that there was an issue between him and Bill, because you believe the reporting. These guys get this stuff from somewhere. So when the news of Josh McDaniel broke, I believe that as well too. But then he jumped on here and did this. It's like, okay, well, shit. Like, maybe he is cool with Josh McDaniels, and maybe Bill Belichick floated this out here. But anyway, I just wanted to point out that he was quick to squash this, and he never said a damn thing about Bill Belichick the way he did this. That's crazy.
I think that's all about just like how Bill. I think that's just how Bill carries himself as a coach. I don't think he gets too close. Maybe he got close with Brady, maybe not, because all those years they were together. But Josh McDaniels' personality versus Bill Belichick's personality makes it seem like he would be a guy that I could like be in the trenches with, be professional with, but also get a drink afterwards. I don't think he's doing that with Belichick. So Belichick is all business. I think with Josh, a little bit more personal. So that's why it's like he would come out to defend Josh because maybe he's had more personal interactions than what he has with Bill Belichick.
Shelton said he almost done, by the way.
All right.
Anyway, I just wanted to say that.
Have y'all stuff been stopping on y'all? Y'all Zoom? Okay, so it's not just only me.
Well, it keeps jumping.
My shit is stopped where it's like it'll log me right back in.
Oh, okay, so that's why it keeps bouncing around like that. They done gave Mo Williams a job as a college head coach.
Should he thank LeBron for that?
Hey, Ken, what was the question you wanted Nick to ask that you post in the chat? You was like, make sure you ask this.
Oh yeah, that's for the Jordan Dot.
Oh, okay. I can't remember. I remember something like that.
But if y'all want to get into the NBA, did y'all see what Woj tweeted out today or a couple days ago? Basically, he said the NBA Basketball Association, Players Association, regional representatives started texting NBA players today with a yes or no question. It will say it will be kept confidential, but it basically says, do you want to try to play again this season?
Do we got the results yet?
No, not yet, because I think it was just sent out probably earlier this week. So maybe we'll get something by the end of the week. But
I'm actually in agreement with Shaq, man, saying that they just, I guess at this point, just scrap it. Scrap this season.
Scrap the whole season?
Yeah, I mean, how are you gonna finish? I mean, I don't know. I feel like you can scrap it at this point, man. Just have everybody come back healthy and just start off next season, man.
If you was hooping right now in the NBA, you already know that would not be your stance, bro.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm speaking as I feel like, are we gonna get the best basketball though when they come back? Like, you think so?
I don't give a damn. I just want basketball at this point.
Yes, and here's the thing. I think that certain teams and players are going to look better than other teams and players. But I think that if you give them about how many games was left in the season? It was like 30, like 29, 30.
Yeah, like 20 plus games left.
I thought it was less than that. I thought it was like.
Nah, it was a little bit more.
Because it was in March. Because they stopped in March, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm about to look at their records. Then I know how many games will be left.
Well, even with that being said, I don't think that you can scrap. Go ahead.
Well, here you go. So Milwaukee was 53-12. So that's 65 games. So they only had like about they had 7 more games left. Roughly 7. No. I'm thinking 72. I'm thinking 72 was the end of the season. 82 games.
Yep, 17 more games.
About 17 more games. Yep.
I think that if you play 10 more games to try to get everybody, back to shape. And here's the thing. I think that a modified season is okay. Obviously, you know what I'm saying? I think anything is okay. But I think if you can get like just the top 4 teams from each conference, you know what I'm saying? Play the 10 games. Everybody play the 10 games. You know what I'm saying? It's a race for 4, and just keep it at that. You know what I'm saying? Do
you think it's gonna be an asterisk? Whoever wins the championship for that, if they do that way?
I don't think that they should have an asterisk. Like, they didn't have an asterisk for the shortened lockout season.
I mean, they didn't, but people kind of.
Yeah, if the Clippers win, I'll put an asterisk by it. But if Giannis win, I won't.
Oh my God! Why?
Come on, man.
Why,
You over there
Ken?
hating for no reason.
But
Hating
like,
in the quarantine.
if the season, if you don't want the season to be over, when should they start the season back up? When should they do this?
ASAP. But so I think. So I think that
Because what if the finals roll into like after July and then you got free agency and just I don't know, it just seems
everything
weird.
back. You just move everything back. Yeah, it's gonna be weird, but I think in the sake of tradition, right? Like if you're trying to keep all of those traditions intact, I think having a champion is way more important than all of the other stuff. So the NBA has to figure out a way to crown a champion. We can't skip a year of having a champion. That's not right.
I mean, but it's serious out here, man. It's real out here in the field.
But you know what? Like I said, take these 8 teams, lock them up in Disney World or whatever, and literally just play it out. Nobody there outside of the teams and the coaching staffs and all of the organizational pieces that need to be there and all of that, the refs and stuff like that, and just knock it out. Yeah, it's not going to be ideal, but again, if there's one thing that we can't miss is an NBA champion. However we get there, You want to put an asterisk by it? By all means, do whatever you got to do.
Now it would be dope if they play without a crowd and you can hear all the shit talking. Like
that would be dope.
That would be dope.
They had to beat the hell out of it.
I mean, you can't really because you're just in that moment. You in the moment, man. There's gonna be a lot of shit talking in that shit that we don't hear with the crowd and the announcers talking. Like, yeah, man. Now that would be cool. That would be cool if they play in empty venues and if they show it on TV still. Yeah,
you know what? The NBA TV has done this a couple of times where they won't even have nobody announcing. You just literally just watch the game like if you were there, just with commercials. So I think that would be I think that would be dope too. Like no announcers, no nobody. Put a camera, let them hoop. If they cuss, they cuss. You ain't gonna be able to bleep it all out.
Aren't there some games, G League games that are broadcast like that?
Yeah, NBA TV does that.
Okay.
So it's their network thing. So sometimes they'll broadcast an entire day, which will be several games, G League or NBA or whatever, and there are no broadcasters. It's literally just the game.
So here's why they're coming back. I feel like a broken record, but I gotta say it for the new audience. Money.
Yeah.
Yep. And Silver is on record saying that this could be the single greatest challenge of our lives. And the reason why he's saying that is that on this article that I'm looking at on Bleacher Report is that the league is in dire financial straits. Like they are going to be in trouble because of this. And we know that all of these guys, man, that the owners and stuff like that, man, they're not going to take those losses if they don't have to. So they're going to try to figure this thing out. So
that's why I was...
Huh?
Oh, go on, my bad. Go ahead. My bad, Cam.
Yeah, no. Last thing is, I'll add is that, and we've heard this, but yeah, neutral site games, where instead of just flying people all around from city to city, they'll just send them to 1 or 2 locations, probably do the little test or whatever when they come in, and let them play that way without the fans, and then that's that, and then they're saying pushing the season back to from October to December. And that is
I mess with that right there. Christmas Day for the new season to begin.
Yep.
Yeah. I like that.
So if you're putting these guys in Las Vegas or Orlando and you're just flying the teams in to play those games and then they're going back and then that's it, like I think that could work.
I just think that that's the reason why I feel like they're putting it in the players' hands. That's why I think the NBA league council, whatever, hit up the NBA PA and just say like, hey, see what the guys want to do. Because at the end of the day, it's up to them. They could not show up and no one really would be too pissed off about it. I mean, because like D is saying, this is about people's livelihood we're talking about. This ain't just about, it's bigger than basketball. So I think most players want to come back. However, worst case scenario, if they come back and somebody gets sick again, then I feel like the season will be. Then I feel like the season will be over then. Like it'll be and will maybe even be longer.
Nah. This whole poll thing is nothing but a PR move. If they get the results they want, like a majority of the players approve coming back or want to come back, they're gonna use that as a way to push forward with opening the league back. So they better hope that the data come back in their favor. Because if it comes back the other way around and they still try to push forward and then somebody gets sick, that's going to look bad. But if the players want to play and they move forward, then they're going to blame the players and say, look, they wanted to play. You know, and we just went with what our players wanted to do. And that was it. But these NBA players, they need checks too, man. They got to pay for them damn houses and all those cars and shit. So they need money too.
Ken, you're 100 million %, trillion % spot on. And remember at the beginning of this thing, there was an article that came out that said only 7 players are getting their entire check for the rest of the season, and all 7 of those guys were represented by Mav Carter. So you already know who's still eating and who's not. We already know the hierarchy of the NBA. But 100%, look, even if in the heart of hearts, especially the younger NBA players, right? Because a dude like LeBron, bro, like he can stop playing basketball today and still pay for his. Come on, man, it's LeBron. KD is financially set. Kyrie's financially set. These guys that are now on 2nd and 3rd and 4th contracts, those guys are good. But dudes still on their rookie deal, man, they feeling like college.
Mm-hmm.
Think about somebody like Zion. Yeah, he went number 1, and I think per year they make like 4 or 5 million. But bro, after you factor in taxes and paying your agent and just literally upgrading your lifestyle, if it wasn't for the Jordan deal, man, that man be struggling like crazy right now. And then that's not even talking about 2nd round picks, late 1st round picks that are still in the league. A dude like Kobe White, man, come on, man, living in Chicago. Bro, you struggling. Your guy, who's your guy? Lefty from Duke as well. You, Nick. What's
talking about RJ?
RJ. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, living in New York?
Yeah. Well, I would feel like those teams would take care of you, right?
Come on, man.
Nope.
Isn't the Knicks organization on to taking care of? Outside of Charles Oakley.
Come on, Nick. Stop.
They ain't gonna give him a rent-controlled apartment.
Nope. Nope. Not gonna happen. They already losing too much money. Why should I give it to you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm paying you for a service.
Mm-hmm.
And you haven't.
But we not like. It's not like we're saying this and it's like, oh, these are just disgruntled workers. Like it's a whole damn pandemic going on, so you got to make exceptions to the rule, right?
Hey, look. Let me ask you something, Nick. When the tough get going, the people that have it are going to hold on to it, bro. They not going, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not just going to give it free willy-nilly. Like you said, we're in a pandemic. The billionaires are going to hold on to their money, dog. They going to hold on to their money. They're not trying to give it to nobody. For what? Like if I'm Mike Dolan, if I'm Dolan right now, I could look at RJ Hampton and be like, it's possible you may not even be in the league 2-3 years from now. Why am I going to give you this extra $5 million for what?
You can't think about that now, though.
Huh?
You can't think about that now. You just drafted him. He's supposed to be like a franchise leader.
But my thing is that you never know the type of injuries that somebody may sustain. You never know what free agent might come to your team, therefore expediting the timeline, therefore meaning you get rid of RJ. So there's just a lot of things, man. At the end of the day, none of these billionaires are going to be giving up free money just because.
RJ ain't that good anyway.
Chill out, Ken. The season ain't even finished yet. We ain't see what he could do in those last 20 games. But
he ain't rookie of the year, though.
It's still up to.
It's a 2-man race. And either one of their names start with RJ.
Hey, Zion just started playing 20 games.
And what does that say about Zion? And what does that say about Zion?
I'm just saying, it's anybody's race if he could jump in and halfway through the season.
It's only a 2-man race.
RJ's name hasn't ever been mentioned for Rookie of the Year.
Hey, if RJ start balling them FIFA, what you say, 10 games? He get a triple-double every game. We be back in there.
I was trying to stretch it out a little bit more to wait on Shelton. So I'm a unless you have something else, Nick.
Nah, that's really all I got.
I came across this on Bleacher Report. It's the NBA's least most clutch players of 2010
Mm.
or the 2010s with an S. Number
Oh, that
10.
decade?
Huh?
That decade?
Yeah, I think it's the decade. Let me make sure. Then I'll read it off to you. Ranking the NBA's least clutch shooters of the 2010 with an S on the end. So take all attempts from the 2010s in the regular season and playoffs. It may have just been that year, but Bleacher Report do weird stuff like, why would they just do that year? I thought it was for the whole decade. I think it is. I think it is for the 2010s. Anyway, I'm gonna read y'all the list anyway. Shit. Russell Westbrook is number 10.
100%.
During the 2010s, they say he missed 757 shots in games in which the score was within 5 points in the final 5 minutes of the fourth quarter or overtime.
I can see that. I'm surprised he's not higher on that list.
Me too. Coming in number 9, Carmelo Anthony.
I'm the police.
Boy, get out of here. He was 256 of 684, 37% from the field, and 53 of 186, 28% from three during clutch time. Number 8, Evan Turner. No shocker.
Yeah.
Moving on. Jameer Nelson. I didn't even know he was taking shots in the clutch. But he shot 34% and 23%. After that, they got DeMar DeRozan. Is that a surprise?
No, but Jameer fell off on a big cliff.
He did.
Like, it was nice.
You talking about from Orlando?
Like, yeah. Then it was like, what the hell happened to Jameer? Like, he couldn't even hit open shots. Yeah. And DeMar doesn't surprise me either. That's the reason why LeBron always got through the Raptors.
Yep. What about Derrick Rose? Because he's 5th.
He couldn't shoot until later on in the 2010s.
Yeah, I get it, but it's kind of not fair. But it is what it is. The numbers say what they say.
Well, he won MVP the next year, right? 2011.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he did. They say during the decade he was 200. He was 207 of 547 from the field and 21 of 90 from three. So 37 and 23%. Your boy Nick, John Wall is number 4.
Why is he my boy?
John Wall. You know, you got something against John Wall. So he shot 37 and 32. Brandon Knight is 3rd. Tyreek Evans is 2nd.
Yep.
And number 1 is Brandon
What
Jennings.
happened to Tyreek Evans?
Injuries. Brandon Jennings.
I could definitely see Brandon Jennings, but what happened to Tyreek, man, I feel like he was somebody that got lost in the sauce when it came to positionless basketball. I don't think coaches knew what he was. He went from point guard to shooting guard to small forward, and the man ain't got no jumper. So I don't think he never landed in a place with a coach that can embrace him and maximize him. I think that's what happened to him. And Brandon Jennings don't surprise me
because he won Rookie of the Year, right?
Tyreek Evans did. Tyreek scored like 20.
Because Tyreek Evans, yeah,
he was only one of 3 or 4 people to do that. In terms of Brandon Jennings, I could see that too.
Yeah, he was like exactly.
Yeah, well, Brandon Jennings, I could definitely see that too. Like after, I want to say it was like one in his first 5 or 6 games, he scored 50. And then after that, like he just thought he was AI.
55. He had 55.
Yep. And I watched that game live. He couldn't miss. I said I watched that game live. He couldn't miss. But
that's his crowning achievement.
Yep. And after that, he thought he was Allen Iverson, and it just never translated.
Yeah, that is so true.
For real?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got cocky.
Stuff.
He got cocky.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
He had a good little run for a second when he was with the Pistons when we had Greg Monroe and Andre Drummond. Then he got hurt, tore his Achilles, and that was a wrap.
And did somebody dunk on him?
No, that was talking about Brandon Knight.
Oh, that's Brandon Knight. Yeah,
that was DeAndre Jordan on Brandon Knight when Chris Paul threw the oop.
Yeah. Boy, that was obituary days.
Man, you know it's bad when you become an anniversary.
You're right.
On this day in basketball.
Yeah.
DeAndre Jordan baptized Brandon Knight.
All right, so I don't know what's going on with Shelton, but we show must go on. We already 4:30 in. We got a hard stop today. So what y'all want to do with this draft? Draft the Last Dance. I think we need him for the draft though.
Yeah, we need him for the draft. So let's just do the Last Dance.
I would say we need him more for the Last Dance.
Well,
we still got more. We still got more episodes of Last Dance. He can come back on that one.
Let's do the draft.
Who gonna draft for him then?
This is the first good draft we can do.
All right,
like
fine,
actual guy.
Have him do his draft virtually. Have him.
Did you hit him up? Did you hit him up? I thought you said he was coming.
He said that that he was almost done, and that was at 4:01.
Dude, it's almost 4:30.
Yep. All right, fine. We'll do the draft. He'll be on auto draft.
Yep.
Yeah, his spot would just whatever player is there. That's what.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's the default. Whoever picked, that's what he got.
All right. Let's do it then.
All right, I got
We got the first pick in the 20. All right, go ahead.
Notice I got the draft up, like the draft board up. Kyle, 12 Kyle, shout out to 12 Kyle. He sent us the draft order. Did y'all see it?
What's the order?
The order is Kim picks first, Shelton picks second, Nick, you pick third, Feefo fourth, and I'm fifth. So that means I got 5.
That helps me out a lot.
I mean, I got 5, 10, and 15.
So I got 4, 8, 12, and 16.
Okay.
Huh?
No, you got
No, you don't. You only got 4. You only got 4, 9, and 14, people.
Which one? 4 what?
4, 9, and 14.
4, 9, and 14. All right.
Remember, there's every 5
Mark
picks.
said he wanted to draft for Shelton.
Oh yeah. I forgot. We're actually including Shelton. My bad.
yeah.
4, 9, and 14. All right. Let me see.
Well, Ken, you got the first pick. It shouldn't be that hard.
No, it's not.
Cody Zeller. Let's move on.
So with the first pick of the 2013 NBA draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Giannis Antetokounmpo.
There you go.
There we go.
Anthony Bennett went first. That is so crazy, dude. Oh my God.
Let's take a moment, man.
What happened to him?
How did that happen?
Right.
I just don't know.
Saying that. I mean, Giannis wasn't like the big time, like, oh my God, you better not miss on him.
Nah, he was the Mahomes of the draft. You didn't see it coming.
Right, you didn't see it coming. That's a good way to put it, Ken. He was the Mahomes of the draft. You didn't see it coming. But, man, because I was looking at this is crazy, dude.
Wasn't Anthony Bennett like a dog coming out of UNLV?
No.
Not really.
Not really.
I don't understand how his.
All right, I'm done.
Yeah, I don't know how his draft stock rose so much because he didn't do any one thing good, and it wasn't like he was physically dominant like that. Like he had moments, because he was very broad, but like he didn't have shooting touch, he didn't have touch around the rim, he didn't have a dribble or a handle, he wasn't a playmaker. It wasn't like he was a down low beast. Look, I put it to you like this.
But is he one of the all-time number one busts?
He's bigger than Olo Candy because at least Olo Candy played some years. Like this dude.
Brown? What about Kwame Brown?
Kwame played some years too.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the biggest bust in NBA history.
And I mean that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, man, is he the biggest bust in NBA history?
He might be because I don't remember.
I'm talking about number one overall pick in NBA history, not like this draft in general. I mean, like, The number one overall pick. What is the biggest number one NBA overall pick bust ever? And I think it might have to be this guy.
I think it is him.
Because with Sam Bowie and Greg Oden, injuries are
injuries.
It is what it is. It wasn't because they couldn't play. This guy couldn't play.
This guy, right? This guy didn't suffer no injuries. He couldn't freaking play. Dog. Like, what the hell?
He's number one.
Ken over there cracking up.
It's funny too because I honestly think the only other thing that I could think of why the Cavs drafted him is because maybe someone in their room was like he's built like LeBron, or like his body reminds you of LeBron. Maybe we could do something with him. Because looking at his position, like he's a power forward, small forward. I remember some of his games at UNLV, and like you said, Feefo, he didn't do anything great, but he was a big presence. You noticed him on the court.
Nah,
I don't know. That's the only thing
that's a reach.
I want to know what that front office was thinking when they drafted him, dude.
He's from Canada too.
We need an oral history on that selection.
Yes, we need that because I'm gonna have to research this and think about this. Anthony Bennett might be the biggest number one overall pick bust ever in NBA.
You gotta think about it, B. He is.
Yes, yeah, like dude.
And Nick, they were what I found is that they were comparing him to Larry Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And
but Larry was a man amongst boys. Anthony Bennett really wasn't.
Nah. Yeah.
Anyway. And it's funny because he's the first Canadian-born player to be selected number one overall. So then, like after him, I think what was it, Wiggins? As far as the next
Wiggins was
overall pick from Canada.
And then how the hell Cleveland gets overall pick?
Right, because they had a number one pick in 2011, I believe. Then they got Kyrie. They had a number one pick in 2013, and then a number one pick in 2014. That's crazy.
All right, so who's Shelton gonna get?
Shelton's taking default. He's taking Victor Oladipo for Orlando.
Okay.
Which still isn't I don't think it's a bad pick.
That's the best pick right there. All right, so
you third, Nick.
For me, looking at the Washington Wizards, they selected Otto Porter. Obviously, I'm gonna go in a different direction. Looking at their roster, they really needed just a good big man because from what I'm seeing, they look pretty solid all around as far as depth wise. So I'm going with Rudy Gobert as the third overall pick for the Washington Wizards. Give you defense, rebounds, and some putbacks.
I bet. So with my selection with the Charlotte Hornets at number 4, they took originally Cody Zeller. I would have took Nerlens Noel. I know he was coming off of an ACL, right? If I'm not mistaken. But when I look at that Charlotte, roster, they definitely front court help. Ramon Sessions was still on the roster. They drafted Kemba the year earlier. So yeah, I definitely would have took Nerlens.
Oh man. With my pick, with the I got the Phoenix Suns with the 5th pick overall, and looking at their roster, looking at their 2012-2013 roster, need a 2-guard bad, and that 2-guard I'm going with is CJ McCollum. So with the 5th pick, the Phoenix Suns picked CJ McCollum. They originally picked Alex Lynn. I think he was a big guy forward or a center from Maryland. And and they really needed a 2 spot. They needed a scoring guard. So CJ.
You know what that means though, right, B?
I know what it. Shut up, people. Shut up.
No Devin Booker in the future.
That's what I said. Shut up, people. Shut up. But I can't predict the future. I'm just going by what I see now. That's all.
Yep.
And knowing what we know, CJ he's good. Yeah. He's good. Yeah. That's a good pick. All right, Ken.
Okay, so this trick was eventually traded to the Philadelphia 76ers by the Hornets. That year, coming off that 2012-2013 season,
you mean the Pelicans?
Huh?
You mean the Pelicans?
Well,
You
I
said
think
the
they were. I
Hornets.
think they were still the
Nah, they
Hornets.
were the Hornets.
Nah, they. I think this is the year they became the Pelicans.
Yep, because I have the Charlotte Hornets. You have the New Orleans
Okay.
Pelicans.
Yeah, well, let's see. Next season.
No,
Yeah,
you
they
got the
became
Charlotte
they became
Bobcats.
the Pelicans. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I hit the back arrow on Basketball Reference, it went to the old name. But yeah, the Pelicans. But yeah, so they got Anthony Davis playing the power forward. He didn't like to play center. They got Robin Lopez, Austin. They need a point guard. They got Eric Gordon, and they need a small forward. So I'm torn because Robin Lopez is serviceable, and I think he could do the job in terms of rebounding and defending. So I'm looking at that small forward spot to fill, and it's just I think with this guy, Otto Porter Jr., I just have to be patient with him, and I think looking at what he was able to actually do in terms of being a solid, starting role player, I think he'll be a good fit. But again, that first 2 years, he didn't do shit. But eventually, he started to find his groove, and hopefully, he got hurt this year, so we didn't get a chance to really see him break out, like Kelly Oubre eventually did when he moved on and got a chance to start fresh somewhere else. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Otto Porter Jr. for this team because they only got Lance Thomas, Darius Miller, Dominique McGuire, and Xavier Henry, and Al Farouk Aminu. That's what I got.
So who we picking for Sheldon? What's the default pick for him?
Default is whoever they took. So Ben McLemore to Sacramento.
Okay.
Damn, y'all doing him dirty.
Well, man, look, he ain't in.
Hey,
Nick, who you got? Who you got? Who you driving for Detroit?
for Detroit, I actually like this Detroit roster outside of the point guards because y'all got a young Chris Middleton. Y'all still got Rodney Stuckey, Charlie Villanueva, Corey Maggette, Andre Drummond, Greg Monroe. Like, this is actually a pretty decent roster. So, but outside of the point guard position, I'm going to go with Michael Carter-Williams because he came on the scene and for his first year with Philly, obviously he won Rookie of the Year, so he was really good. So I think if y'all had him, that would have helped y'all roster out that year a lot. So I'm going to go with Michael Carter-Williams.
I just watched a video about Michael Carter-Williams' first game in the NBA, and they were talking about rookies, like the best rookie first game ever, and he had it. He had, like, I want to say it was like 22 points. He almost had a quadruple double in that game. He had 22 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds, and 9 steals.
Yeah, I'm always wondering what happened to him. Like, why did he?
Yep.
But still be effective. I mean, there's a lot of point guards who can't shoot that still can do some stuff. Like, it seemed like because he couldn't shoot, like everything else fell off.
It did.
Because like the list that Feefo mentioned, there's good numbers outside of the shooting or scoring.
But here's the thing though, right? Like, not shooting is one thing, but you have to be able to complement your overall game with an in-between game. He didn't really have a mid-range game. He didn't have a floater. If he wasn't getting to the rim, it was difficult for him to get buckets. Mm-hmm. And then even though he was a point guard, he wasn't necessarily the greatest of playmakers either. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was decent, but he wasn't special. So the only thing that was special about him was his size. So it's just one of those things. Maybe if he would have got drafted by Detroit, maybe he might still be in the league. It's one of those things.
Same thing with Melo. Drafted by Detroit, he could have won titles.
Who you picking at 9, people?
Yeah, so Utah. I was looking at their roster, and I agree. Number 9.
Minnesota
it's traded to Utah. It was traded to Utah.
Oh, okay. My bad. I stand correct.
Yeah, so they originally took Trey Burke from Michigan. I'm gonna stick with a point guard. It won't be Trey Burke. Give me what's his name? Give me Dennis Schroeder from Germany.
Son of a bitch.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick. All right. So for my squad, I'm picking that 10th. I got Portland Trail Blazers. We got Dame Lillard coming off his rookie year. And we had Wesley Matthews, we had Nicholas Batum, we had LaMarcus Aldridge. So I feel like this squad needed either. I was looking at him, Feefo, at Dennis Schroeder as a good backup for Dame, but we need a center, and Myers Leonard he was all right, but I feel like with this draft I'm gonna pick is gonna be well worth it, and that's gonna be Rudy Gobert.
He's already gone.
Yeah.
He is.
Nick drafted him.
Oh yeah, Nick, that's right. You did pick him, yo, punk ass. I'm gonna go with shit. Yeah, I was looking at that.
He had a whole speech ready.
I know, man. I was looking at the center because it was either gonna be Rudy or it was gonna be Dennis, because I was like, I need a backup to give Dame some rest. But okay, so damn, at the 10th spot, shit. Damn. I go with Steven Adams, man. I go with Steven Adams as my big scrappy center, man. Nobody picked him, right? No one got him, right?
No one picked him yet.
Okay, so that's gonna be my team. No, you didn't, Ken. Shut up. Yeah, Steven Adams is gonna be my pick. I need a bona fide big guy that's a rim protector, a good rebounder. So that we need that. We need someone down there to toughen up that block, because LaMarcus Aldridge is clearly not. When he was the finesse guy at the power forward spot. Even though I like LaMarcus Aldridge, but it's just we need someone that's gonna be down there to bang. So yeah, Steven Adams.
Okay. Well, there go my guy.
Why I always pick your guy? Yeah, every time I draw you say I always pick your guy.
Yeah, it's because it's like fantasy football and shit. So I have the Sixers. In 2012, they had Drew Holiday as a starter. They had Nick Young at the 2, but they had a lot of shooting guards. A lot of shooting guards that couldn't play. Small forward. They still had Evan Turner. So I still think they were trying to figure that out. Thaddeus Young, as the power forward. And they needed centers bad. That's why I wanted Steven Adams. He would have been perfect for this team to replace Halls, Brown, and LaVoy Adams. So let me see. What was Nick Young doing that year? I think I know who I'm going to get. It wasn't bad. I could get by with him. Oh, geez. Let me see. It's between Alex Lynn. I'm going to go Tim Hardaway Jr. Yep. Give me him.
You're killing me, Ken.
He's consistent. He's definitely younger, and I can get rid of all of these goddamn shooting guards. Get Damian, Jason Richardson's old ass out of here, Jeremy Pargo, Shelvin Matt, Royal Ivy, and let me put Tim Hardaway Jr. on there as my 2. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. So since Steven Adams is already off the board, what we're gonna do is we're gonna move Kelly Olynyk to number 12. So OKC takes Kelly Olynyk with Shelton's pick. So who's number 3? There's you, Nick.
Yeah.
You got Boston. Who you taking? Kelly Olynyk.
I was gonna try to just say Kelly Olynyk would be a good choice because I know exactly what he did with Boston. But since he's off the board, I'm gonna have to go with. I was thinking about Tim Hardaway Jr. because this Boston team is the last, I think, year that KG, Paul Pierce, Rondo, and all of them are still on the squad outside of Ray Allen. So I'm gonna go with Mason Plumlee because they went with Kelly Olynyk because of size. They needed more big men size down under. So I'm gonna go with Mason Plumlee for my center. Solid guy. He doesn't stretch the floor like Kelly does, but he'll get you at least rebounds and good defense.
But so with the number 14 pick, it's Minnesota. Originally, they took Shabazz Muhammad. And when I look at that roster, man, they had a lot of potential to do some great things. Their starting point guard was Ricky Rubio. Their two guard was Alexei Shved. I liked him. I think he was a little underrated, but just couldn't cut it in the NBA. They had AK-47, Kevin Love, and Nikola Pekovic. So for me, when I look at that, the weak link is the two guard. So we will be upgrading that with KCP.
Man, I don't know what the I got 15. I got the 15 spot, and of course, originally it was taken by Milwaukee got Giannis, and I'm looking
That's
at
a
this.
steal.
Yeah,
I'm looking at this Milwaukee roster, and Jesus.
Just pick somebody. They can help.
I am. I'm looking. I'm gonna go with Tim Hardaway from Michigan.
Nah,
You already off the board.
Damn.
it's payback.
What? Yeah. Shut up.
you could take Andre Roberson.
Don't sigh. Man, I could. Yeah, because he was a small forward, kind of stretched too small forward. Yeah, give me him.
I'd rather go with Reggie Bullock.
I'll go with Andre Robertson. Yeah, I'm going with that. Shit.
We should do a list of the biggest steal in the NBA draft, like NBA draft history.
Giannis and Jimmy.
I was gonna say Giannis may have to be the biggest steal.
And
At
Manu.
15.
Manu's up there.
Manu was a second rounder, wasn't he?
And Draymond has to be up there.
Mm-hmm.
He was a second round pick. Rudy Gobert is a second round pick. You talking about multiple defensive player of the year. So he's a steal too. Wesley Matthews is a steal. Imagine if
Rudy was in the first round. He was late first round.
Who?
Rudy Gobert.
27.
Might as well say second round.
Ooh, hey, Feefo.
So
I'm looking at the number one overall picks.
Purvis
Ellison.
I remember him.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though, B. He was whack, but he played multiple NBA seasons. Anthony, what's his name?
Anthony Bennett.
Anthony Bennett played like 2 years, bro.
Yep, and Purvis Ellison, at least he had 3 seasons where he averaged double digits. He averaged 20 points. I'm on Basketball Reference. He averaged 20 points one season.
Yeah.
Damn, Anthony's
Anthony Bennett, bro.
Anthony's Bennett's best year was in 2014, 2015 with Minnesota. He averaged 5 points, 3 rebounds, and 0.8 in assists. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I'm
garbage.
looking. It ain't. Yeah, Joe Smith. He kind of had a little start of his career. Glenn Robinson, Big Dog, Chris Webber, Shaq, Derek Coleman, Danny Manning. Yeah, man, I think Anthony Bennett is probably the number one bust of all time, dude.
He ain't even. The only caveat is that he at least got his rookie deal. You know, that $30 million. That's probably. I hope he used that to good use.
Hey, look, I'm gonna tell y'all like this. This is how you know it's bad. Anthony Bennett was what? He was a one and done in 2013. So that would have put him at what? 9 years in the NBA? No, 7 years in the NBA. So he would have been what? 26 right now. This man ain't even on the Canada national team, bro.
That's crazy. Dog, what was Cleveland thinking? This is crazy. Yeah, I'm looking at it. Patrick Ewing, Akeem Olajuwon, Ralph Sampson, James Worthy, Mark Aguirre. Wow. Yeah, when they get into the 70s, I don't really know much about. But I mean, hell, Lou Alcindor, we know about Bob Lanier, Austin Carr, LaRue Martin, Doug Collins. Doug Collins was the number one overall pick. Yeah. Jimmy Walker. Yeah, a lot of these older Oscar Robertson. Yeah, I mean, damn, Anthony Bennett. Yeah, I mean, you can. Yeah, biggest number one overall bust of all time.
To me in this draft, because like especially at the time, we didn't know, there was no consensus number one. This would have been the perfect time for Cleveland to trade back.
Nobody wanted to pick. They tried to.
Oh. Well, but to me, okay, fine. Even if nobody wanted to pick, I would have took a hurt Nerlens over Anthony Bennett. Because the year before, remember, they took Deion Waiters instead of Andre Drummond. Mm-hmm. I would have took Nerlens.
Adam Morrison wasn't the overall pick, number one overall pick, was he?
Nah, he was third, wasn't he?
No, because someone in chat said y'all forget about Adam Morrison, and we didn't. We said the number one, all draft picks that was drafted at number one, Anthony Bennett is the biggest number one overall draft pick bust ever.
Yes.
We're not saying the biggest draft bust like all
overall.
Draft.
Just number one picks.
Yeah, just all the drafts that got picked at the number one pick. What's his Modest Bell? So I'm answering Modest Bell's question. He said we forgot Adam Morrison. Adam Morrison wasn't picked number one overall. But that would be a good one, though. That would be a good one. If Adam Morrison was picked number one overall, he that would be a good one. But Anthony Bennett, he's the biggest. He was whack. He was whack.
I think see, here's the thing about Adam Morrison. At least he played like 5-6 years in the league. Another one that I would have to say that is on the same Adam Morrison level was Marvin Williams. Yeah. Even though he played,
he didn't.
He should have been number 3.
Shit, Sheldon Williams.
Yep.
He was number 2.
What the hell the Hawks been doing, bro?
Dude, he was number 2 pick. Dog.
Isn't that Candace Parker husband?
Ex-husband.
Ex-husband. Oh, okay.
Ex-husband. Divorce.
Hey, that was his trophy. That's the only trophy he ever go get. Man.
That's crazy.
You trying to say, Nick?
I'm just trying to say he ain't do nothing in the league. He was better off the court than on the court. All right, is that all y'all got for the draft?
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the only basketball that we can really watch right now. Jordan highlights. The Last Dance doc.
News update. Sham saying the NBA and the NBPA are going to do a call about the season resuming. Said it looks like they're coming back.
Told you. It's too much money, man, which is why, like, even in regular, normal civilian life, you're seeing these small businesses open up. Because if they don't, like, there's certain jobs and industries and businesses that are never, ever, 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 ever going to come back. The NBA doesn't want to be part of that. So you have to generate the revenue. You just have to. They can't.
To me,
Nick on that 18. Yo, you was breaking up hella.
You hear what I said? My bad. I was saying it sound like you were saying like most of these businesses are just saying, fuck it. We just gonna open the floodgates.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's right. That's what they're doing.
To a degree. And we talked about this a little bit yesterday on Is the Myke Still On? I think businesses need to reopen, but with stipulations and or different modus operandi. That's just where we are, right? Like, and yesterday we were talking about Jordan shoes. And my thing is this. They already sell shoes online. You know what I'm saying? Don't allow people either in the store or standing in line. Like, they should do like an in-store pickup. Everything is ordered online. Like, there is no buying it in the store. You got to go online and either order it or buy it and get it shipped to you. And then if you order it, you go to the store, you stay in your car. You know what I'm saying? They have a way where they just get you your order, and that's it. You know, so I don't think businesses need to shut down. They need to pivot into different business models. And I'll give you another example. Like my brother, the company that he works for, my youngest brother, originally they were vehemently against people working from home. They were in the old mindset, oh, well, you know, people work from home, they're not going to work, this, that, and the third. Obviously, this hit. And, you know, he's had several calls where his management is like, look, this is probably going to be a business model moving forward because we're saving so much money and the production drop-off isn't really there. There is no production drop off. And if you look at any business model, the two most expensive things in a business are its people and then it's property. It's lease or it's mortgage or whatever. So if you could cut one of your biggest expenses but still operate your business, then you got to make those moves. And I just think businesses now are going to be forced to again pivot or just change process. And the NBA is the same way. They just gonna have to pivot and change process.
So how early do you think they come back? By June, like mid-June?
I would say probably 2-3 weeks, because because a lot of organizations have already opened up their practice facilities and things of that nature. So now it's just as a league, figuring out dates, times, getting everything back in order. But yeah, I would say in a matter of a couple weeks.
All right, we'll see. I'm sure that announcement will be the biggest headline of the sports world for the next month or so. Hopefully, we'll get an answer by the end of this week.
He's I think he's freed up, so he'll be on in a second. So perfect timing.
All right, so this Jordan doc, episodes 7 and 8. I think we're coming on the last 2 episodes this upcoming Sunday, and then it'll be a wrap on us reliving the 90s, the Bulls run in the NBA. What did y'all think about episode 7, which I believe mostly dealt with his father passing and him leading towards retiring from the NBA the first time? Yeah, pretty much. What were y'all thoughts on his relationship with his father and how close he was?
Made him who he was. Without his father and honestly his siblings, Michael Jordan wouldn't be Michael Jordan. So I think it was very important for them to show that. And we kind of touched on it, I want to say last week too. But yeah, man, I think it's an important part of the story.
What about you, Ken?
You know what? I was surprised they went there. I was surprised they went there with the gambling stuff, and the suspension. They addressed the conspiracy. I was like, oh shit, they really gonna do it, and they did. It After I thought about it a little, I guess what better way to kind of quash the rumors than to do it this way when you have 5 million people watching over and over again. So yeah, but that was one of the things that shocked me about the last 2 episodes.
So, Ken, let me ask you, because you talked a little bit about the gambling. Do you feel like NBA players now can get away with stuff like that? And also, do you think it was detrimental to Michael Jordan?
I don't think they could get away with that. Not now. That was, even back then, a very highly talked about story. It was slanderous. It was, detrimental to his relationship. They used it to bring him down. So if something like that was to happen now, it would probably damn near destroy a player, and it forced him out of the league. In all honesty, so no, I don't think anybody can get away with that now, and it did negatively impact Jordan.
I understand where Jordan was coming from, though. I think that when you live life in that type of microscope, when you live life in that type of fishbowl, you need releases. You know what I'm saying? I definitely don't think our celebrity is nowhere near what Michael Jordan's was. And even just from normal life, like we need releases, we need video games, we need vacations, we need this, we need that. So I couldn't even imagine not being able to just say, being a grown ass man, being an adult, and go spend time in a casino or whatever, what have you, as long as I do my job. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that this whole being an idol, being a role model, I understand when athletes don't necessarily want that title, because it's like it's so unfair.
Yeah, and I think the thing that once I knew they were going to go, well, the conspiracy part aside that Stern and he discussed, I was really trying to hear something to convince me otherwise, like than the stories that I heard back at the time. They really provided no answers. It was just he was driving home or he was driving late, pulled over, took a nap. Somebody just happened to see this car on the side of the road. It didn't look like it was a Ferrari or anything like that. And just
But it was a Lexus SC300, and at the time it was a very luxurious car.
okay.
Yeah, because they stripped the parts, didn't they? When they found the car later on.
That could be part of the cover up.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, it was odd. So maybe I don't know. I still didn't hear anything to convince me that he just pulled over on the side of the street and went to sleep to take a nap. Like you, Jeffrey Jordan, bro. You can stop it. I don't know where he was. I can't remember exactly the location and how far he was from a hotel or something like that. But it's just still weird.
Do y'all think that was the biggest thing that made him retire, or was it just more of like what FIFA was saying, like the accumulation of everything, of trying to be a role model, to working as hard as he did?
It was his father. It was his dad passing away and then blaming him basically for his dad's death. That was the biggest factor. That other stuff, that pressure he dealt with every day. And even though he was getting tired of it, I don't think it pushed him over the edge. What pushed him over the edge was his father dying and being blamed for his father's death. That hurt. A person like him, that hurt more than anything else.
Yeah, and I think what added to that, I'm not gonna say it was the root cause, but I think what added to that was like Jordan in his mind had to think, my dad saw me win 3 championships in a row. None of my contemporaries have done that. Nobody's better than me. I've dominated. What else do I have to prove? Plus, my dad's not here. Plus, he told me that going the baseball route was the thing to do.
Mm-hmm. And he was mentally and physically tired from, the runs that he's been making in the NBA, those runs. So it's draining, man. It's draining.
Did you hear what I forgot? Was it his trainer who reported this? Like after that 92 year, after the Dream Team, he was like, yeah, I'm about to shock the world, man. I'm about to retire. He said, I would do it this summer, or I would do it now.
But Magic Larry didn't three-peat or whatever.
And then I think he said something else. I'm like, damn, this nigga really just called it. Like, I'm on 3-peat, and I'm going to go retire and go play baseball real quick. Like, I've never understood someone setting their goals like that and just like, oh, yeah, this is going to happen, and that's why I'm going to do it later.
But that's what separates Michael Jordan from every other basketball player to ever play the game, is that he had supreme confidence in everything he did, and losing was not an option. I think if you go like on ESPN right now, they're talking about when Steve Kerr was saying, Phil came into game 6 of one of the finals games, and Phil obviously trying to get the mental status of the team right? Because you don't want to build up your team to say, yeah, we're going to win, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and then you lose game 7, it's a wrap because that letdown. So Phil was trying to tell everybody, hey, look, the challenge is to face this, but also to know that losing is a possibility. Mike looked at everybody and was like, man, we ain't fucking losing. Bulls on 3. You know what I'm saying? Just because that's how he's wired. You know what I'm saying? That's why he's so, like, nobody else catch him.
Yeah. Another thing is, I wanted to ask y'all, because y'all were more around that time than I was, even though I was alive. But as far as like when he announced his first retirement, what was the world like? What did y'all think? What kind of craziness was going on?
Sports stopped. Everything stopped.
Yeah.
Sports didn't feel the same. It felt like we lost. Michael Jordan retiring felt like nothing else really mattered. Mm-hmm. Like there was no sports. Like I didn't want to watch football. I didn't want to watch this. I didn't like Michael Jordan's not playing.
I didn't feel that. I didn't feel that way.
I was gonna say, what was y'all thoughts?
Yeah, it was funny because when that happened, me and my dad we was assuming that it was because the murder of his father was why he retired. Like we didn't even I mean, I wouldn't think I can understand why Feefo was saying what he was saying, especially being in being from Chicago, being around it. But I mean, I didn't feel that way. I wasn't like, oh man, like, oh shit, something. It was just kind of like, okay. My thinking was who's gonna be the next guy? Who's gonna be the next guys that's gonna, carry the NBA? Like who is he giving this torch to? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was thinking. But I was also thinking, like, yeah, I think his father passing away, getting killed was like, I think that was definitely a reason, especially looking like, okay, he already did the 3P thing, and at that time, 9 years in the NBA was still pretty. I mean, that was still a hefty career. I mean, It wasn't like he had to play, 19, 18, 20 years. So playing 9 years, accomplishing what Jordan had accomplished, gold medal winner, all these scoring titles, all these MVPs up to that point, 3P. So I mean, it was kind of like, okay, well, maybe I was like, he probably felt like he accomplished everything that he needed to accomplish, and then of course his dad dying was kind of like the extra little push to make him like, step away from the game. So that's how I felt about the whole situation as it was happening. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get that whole the world stop shit for me.
Well, I felt, me personally, I felt like selfish, of course, and nobody wanted to see him retire. That's like, if you were a fan or you were a kin, you know what I'm saying? And I was a fan. So in saying that, I was hurt when he left the game. But looking back, like I said, looking back at it now, the amount of pressure that man put on himself, there's nobody that can compare. People talk about how he was on other people. Think about how he was on himself. You know what I'm saying? That dude was Superman. He really, really was. And so in saying that, man, he needed to step away. He really did. And his dad was his confidant, his support system. That was everything for him. So losing his father at that time meant more than anything else to him. And also, it was his dad's wish that his dad always thought he should have been a baseball player anyway. So let's take on a new challenge. I've accomplished all this. Let me go do something else, because basketball reminded him of his father. So basketball hurt at that point. You know what I mean? So in saying that, I think that was the key factor in him stepping away. But he wasn't done, because he's the ultimate competitor. So of course he's gonna go play baseball. He's gonna do something else just to prove he can.
Yep, like I said, one, I was happy because I was ready to move on. Yep, and two, I was with B. I was like, dang, maybe it is real. Maybe he really is trying to run from this story, of his dad. So I didn't see it the way they put it in the documentary, because I wasn't living it. I wasn't around that time, and we wasn't privy to that information. I was just caught up in the gossip.
Caught up in the headlines.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What did y'all think about Phil Jackson? Like when he had that meeting with him, and Phil was saying, I think this is the right quote, is like, "You're denying a gift to society, but I understand." Like, how would y'all take that as far as
that was
in context with everything he's dealing with? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that was a weird statement. When I heard it, I was like he's already given it to him. What do you mean I'm denying them? This is like, who are you to tell me what I'm doing? It's like, I don't know. It just felt odd. That was a weird statement to hear him say, that he's basically out there to entertain others.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but I think that comes. I think that's part of the responsibility when God gives you gifts, like He has given Michael Jordan. And sometimes you may want to deny it, but I think that it's being selfless, and I think it's also Phil Jackson kind of understanding what Michael Jordan means to society overall. You know what I'm saying? Like, he is a beacon. He's so transcendent. You know what I'm saying? That if you do not share your gift with everybody, you are denying humanity. And it's the truth. It's like, what if Michelangelo never painted? What if all of these great acts that we still marvel at hundreds of thousands of years later, what if that never happened? I think
but his
that same space.
But his comment is after 3 titles, after MVPs, after All-Star games. But I'm just saying, like,
you can play at a high level.
But you were saying, like, what if these people didn't do it at all? Like, he's already done it. Like, you've already had memories of it. And on top of that, I was surprised because Phil is probably the closest person to him at the time. when it comes to like understanding like he's probably like a therapist in a way of like understanding his mentality and how he moves and like
You know what?
he should understand. He should be understanding like, bro, my dad just died. I don't give a fuck about society right now.
And that's true. But as a hooper, you always can find solace in playing basketball. You can always do that. And up until that point, even though Michael Jordan has accomplished everything that he did up until that point, he still didn't have his Mona Lisa moment. His Mona Lisa moment was against Utah. You know what I'm saying? It's like that original farewell wasn't a true farewell because of, you know, a diminishment of your talent, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, we understood it because of the real life events, but from an artist, from somebody that just means so much to people, he internally wasn't done yet. You know what I'm saying? And I think everybody knew that. I knew as a kid, I vividly remember this. Like, I remember watching the press conference. And the whole time in my head, and I was telling my mom and my dad, I'm like, he's gonna come back. Like he has so much more to give. Why would he walk away right now? And I understood, you know, all of this stuff, but I'm like, he's gonna come back. He's too competitive. Like, this is Michael Jordan, bro. You know what I'm saying? Even as a kid, I knew that. And eventually, you know, he did come back.
Going into the documentary a little bit, as far as I think more towards the second episode, where I think this is where MJ thought like he was being a real asshole, and that's why he was kind of scared of the doc coming out, because this is where we started to see him in practice and seeing how his teammates felt about him in practice or in general, just being around him. But I feel like most of the people, even just looking at social media, they kind of like, this makes sense. This is exactly how I thought it would be. Why are we in two different eras? I know we've talked about this conversation before, as far as, can that mentality still be dominant or still be useful in this era?
I don't think so, because I don't think, one, it's a couple reasons. One, this era, these players are super soft, and the word bullying is thrown around like never before. So it's you yell at somebody too hard and you're going to be called a bully, and it's going to come out. It's just too much. And then two, there's not a player to the level of Jordan that's able to do that sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? The only person that we can consider being that type person is LeBron, and he's not built that way. So in saying that, no, I don't think it's possible in this era. I don't think there's a person that separates themselves as much as he did and to the level that he did that exists in the NBA, and I don't think there ever will be again.
You can have that mentality. It don't mean you're going to be able to fulfill it. You know, there are a lot of guys that probably feel like, man, we ain't losing this game, and then they go out and lose. So yeah, I mean that's the extra sauce that made Jordan special, is that he was able to fulfill those prophecies. So, you know.
Speaking of that, as far as his leadership, I want to double back a little bit from the years that he was gone at playing baseball, and Scottie was the one that kind of took the leadership role of the Bulls. The Bulls players talked about like, it's basically, I felt like it was more like, oh, dad's gone, so mom's running the house right now. It was like, it was a little bit more peaceful. Scottie would grab you, put his arm over you and say like, look, you can do better next time. There's always going to be next time, whatever. But then it got to that point where Scottie was like, I'm the man still. And Phil didn't really recognize that, because they had that.
Don't say that. Phil knew that.
I'm just gonna say, Phil, if MJ was on that team, is he not getting the last shot?
But that's MJ.
Yeah.
I understand that. I'm not comparing to Scottie and MJ. I'm just saying as far as the role of leadership, of them being the leaders of the team.
Phil coaching. And he said it. They all said it. Kukoc hit shots to win games in the regular season. As a coach and without MJ, I'm going to give it to the guy that I have seen hit those shots and win, and he was a better shooter.
Because it's a team thing now. Now you don't have that super alpha guy that's like, no matter what happens, just get him the ball and move the hell out of the way. We don't have that guy. So Phil Jackson is now that orchestrator. He's the one that has to call the shots as to how things are going to play out. And he's had, and Ken just said it, like in the regular season, he's run this play for Tony. He's hit multiple game-winning shots. That's where we're going to go. And I understand Pippen as well. I don't understand him not getting back into the game, but I understand having that ego checked right there. I definitely. Yeah. And I think that it's one of those things that if you're the star player and the coach decides not to put the ball in your hands, you know what I'm saying? You let that coach have it. If Tony Kukoc would have missed that and they would have lost that game, Scotty should have went off on Phil.
Right.
In front of the media, you say, hey, look, we ran the right play, this, that, and the third. You deflect all of that. You take all of the blame. Man, you know, I should have did something in the third quarter that could help. You know what I'm saying? We know how the rhetoric goes.
Do that PC bullshit.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, you know, I was watching, and this is a damn good interview. If y'all haven't watched it, I think it's a 6 or 10 part interview with Amon Shumpert on Vlad TV, but it's actually a basketball coach that's interviewing him. And he said as a rookie, he came in and they were playing some team, I can't remember, and Iman was open in the corner. And Melo came and he shot a fadeaway over 2 people. And he was getting all crazy. Man, what the hell? Melo doing this, that, and when they get into the locker room, you know, players had to kind of separate them or whatever. And the mind's like, hey, man, I'm open. You know, that was me. I'm going to hit you this, that, and the third. And Carmelo looked at Shump and was like, I work on that. And Shumpert said at that moment, he understood, like, okay, they pay him to do, like, that's his job. That's not my job. But if as a basketball player, I decide to take this shot and not give it to Melo, I better make it, because Melo is the one that has to take the bullets in front of the media. Melo is the one that has to deflect. Nobody's going to be interviewing Shump, even if he makes the game winner. You know what I'm saying? So when you're that guy, you're going to get those opportunities because that's what you practice for. That's what they pay you for. So Scotty was never necessarily that guy. MJ was. So that's the difference.
I remember that shot too, because I was happy that Pippen didn't go in the game, and then he hit that shit. I'm like, God damn, it's the same old shit. They keep winning games.
Yeah.
Did that reveal a lot of? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. My bad.
I was just gonna say he made that shot, so it really made Scotty look bad because he made the shot too. So what more can you say? The man scored the basket, so it was a bad moment for him.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at it,
the story about Bill Cartwright, how he came in there just crying. You know, I've never been in that situation because I've always wanted to be on the court and I would do anything for my squad. But if like one of my teammates came to me and was like, "Man, you really let us down," like to the point where he's crying, that's tough, bro.
And I forgot that was
crazy. Scottie Pippen, old punk ass, talking about something. They asked him, do he regret it? And he don't even regret doing what he did.
He said I'll do it again.
He would do it again, yeah.
I forgot that was the one where he dunked on
Ewing. That was nasty.
That was nasty.
Top 5 greatest playoff dunks ever.
Yes. Yep. And to step over him like that.
Did the Draymond.
and then he started talking shit to Spike Lee.
Well, no, that wasn't the Draymond. That was the LeBron. LeBron did that to Draymond. No.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, looking back on all this, as far as like so far in this whole series about Scotty, is it kind of safe to say that he was a bad teammate?
Nah, he just had a bad moment.
Because like if we go back to the beginning, remember he got that surgery late for their final championship run because he was upset about his contract and all that. And MJ was a little upset about that too. He was like, bro, you could have got that done early. We could have been working. You made me have to work even harder to get this last title than I should have.
Well, see, here's the thing with that. Scotty laid down a lot of the times and he sacrificed a whole lot throughout his whole career for the betterment of the team, for Michael. He was always doing something for somebody else. What happened was, it's just every time he went against doing something for somebody else, it backfired in his face. From the surgery to the that one play and stuff like that. And that's what people hold on to, which is unfortunate because if you look at everything else, this man was selfless. He did everything for everybody else. So he get a bum rap because of those couple of incidents. But for the most part, Scotty was an awesome teammate. Not many people want to be Robin. And he played that role to a T.
You know, when I think about Scotty and in the light that they've painted him during this documentary, the person I think of the most is LeBron. You know, it's just that LeBron never played with that alpha guy that was, well, outside of Kyrie, and I would say D-Wade too, but just D-Wade started to fall off. But, you know, like, what Phil Jackson and what the rest of the guys said, like when Scotty didn't play, right? Like when he waited to take that surgery, he's the glue. He made everything else so easy for everybody. You know what I'm saying? He was the point forward. He the initiator. He would take on the toughest defensive assignment along with MJ. But you know, like Scotty was bigger and longer. So to hear that, like every time I hear that, I'm just like, he's just a smaller version of LeBron. And if LeBron would have made some of those same decisions that Scotty made, oh my God, we already crucify him. I think that anybody in the modern era, we would crucify even more than Scotty got crucified.
Yeah, he just had 2 bad moments.
I don't know. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying this documentary is making me look at Scotty a little bit different. I didn't realize all this stuff went down even during the championship run. Like, not to say he was in the wrong throughout the whole time, but especially that last shot. It's kind of like, as the leader of the team, you gotta set the example, because that's what I would think he would have learned that from Jordan.
He looks bad, but
but what else though? What else did you see that would make him look bad other than those 2 incidents? You got to think about it. This man was there for what? How many years was he there?
Since what, 85?
Right. So he really didn't. Like I said, if you look at his career and the span of let's look at his whole career. Scotty was more, like I said, he's more workmanlike. He got along. He did what he's supposed to do. It's just a couple times he stepped up or felt like he was making a statement. They were the wrong statements. He didn't consult. So that's pretty much it. He doesn't have like a whole bunch of stuff or baggage to go along, you know.
Going on to, as far as this last championship run and just their whole kind of 90s era run in general, Ken brought up the question in the chat, and I think it's an interesting one. I think a lot of people have thought about this. Like, would he have won without Phil? Seeing how Phil Jackson, not only during the time where MJ left, he kept this team afloat, almost even got them to an NBA Finals with just Scotty and the boys. Like, this seems like it's the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick question. Who could do it without the other? What are y'all thoughts on that?
Well, so a bit of background. So I was watching First Take, and Max said that Jordan was so great, eventually he would have won a championship, regardless of who the coach was. And I don't know if I necessarily believe that, because once he had that triangle, and once he had and all those pieces fell into place, like, he couldn't be stopped. So I don't know if without Phil coming along and saying, installing and test winners, installing the triangle, and then saying you need to trust your teammates, I don't know if he would have ever adopted that mindset, because he was just wired so differently than everybody else. If you didn't go along with that, he wouldn't have wanted you on the team. He even said it. He almost came to tears in the documentary. He was like, if you don't want to give it your all or play or be willing to sacrifice, then what are you doing it for? Like he said, winning has a price. And he was willing to pay that price. But there was another price that had to be paid, and they needed Phil to really instill that in him along with the perfect system. So I'm thinking about all of the other coaches that came along that he could have won with. Who he could have won with? Maybe Larry Brown, you know. But there wasn't a lot of coaches. Maybe Pat Riley. So I don't know. I think sometimes, man, like the universe just lines perfectly for you. And you get everything you need in order to win. When we look at LeBron, like he needed Tyrell Lue to win his championships and Eric Spoelstra, but he won it with two different coaches. So I when I heard him speaking so definitively about that, like it was just an absolute fact that if he didn't get Jordan, if he would have won without Phil Jackson, I don't think that's true.
Do you think that he wouldn't have won a single title without Phil?
I don't think so. I'm leaning to no.
Because I would say that he would have won at least one. I would give him just one.
Where and now, how though?
Because I believe that he was eventually going to get. I just think the team was going to be good enough because I think how he started, those teams were so sorry that eventually that got good enough. Like as far as the players that are coming into the league have gotten better. Now I will say this: I don't think he would have won championships without Phil. Like I don't think he would have won 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I would even take it a step further. I don't think he would have won 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 without Jerry Krause. I think that Jerry Krause is more important to Michael Jordan as far as his success than Phil Jackson.
Man, look, I believe in that man. I believe that man did it with more than one cast. I think that he would have definitely won at least 2 championships. I just don't think he would have went through his career without winning one. He willed them. He was able to will them and push people to the next level himself. Now, Phil had a heavy hand in that, but it was more Tex Winter than Phil even. If you want to be technical about it. So if you're saying if Tex Winter's not there with the triangle offense, then some things may have been different. But for the most part, I think Jordan would have at least willed them to 1, maybe 2 championships at least.
Because I think
with another coach and a completely different system.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Tex meant just as much as Phil. So Tex Winter being there made the difference. But still, I just think he could have done it. I think he could have willed him there.
I don't know, man.
I just think that Phil was the best guy to teach the triangle because of his philosophy and how he is as a coach and all that. And we've given him compliments on that already. I just think that with Jerry had everything. Like he knew exactly who he wanted before even Phil knew exactly what he wanted, you know? Like Jerry was the one who told Phil, this is what you gotta do to get into the building. Then he said, all right, we already got this dude right here who has a system that I like. I want you to learn from him. And then once you learn from him, we're gonna kick Doug out. Like it's just like everything Jerry did is like, and then like even the trades he made, even though some of them were like people were upset with, they worked. Like nonetheless, they worked. They got him 6 titles. And I know people were saying that he was a snake and he was backstabbing, but this is business at the end of the day. We always talk about sports as being a business, and the ends justify the means.
I just give Jerry credit for signing Scotty for pennies.
Exactly. Like, look at that contract. That's a great contract business-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right, Feefo. But I don't know, man. Like maybe. I mean, but I can't find one player that has really won it by himself. And
you mean like as far as like having either a good supporting cast or great coaching?
Yeah. Like who could have been the coach to get him over that hump? Who could have been the guy to instill those other philosophies that he didn't have, those disciplines that he didn't have? I think he needed those things.
I mean, I think a lot of great players at some point, all of the greats that won championships, they had either one thing or the other, either a great supporting cast, a great Robin to their Batman, or a great coaching system or a great coaching staff. You know what I'm saying? Zeke won it with the Goons and Chuck Daly.
He had a great coach, Chuck Daly.
Yeah, even the 04 Pistons, we had Larry Brown. You know what I'm saying? Larry Brown instilled philosophies that Chauncey Billups wasn't getting before he got there. You know what I'm saying? And Magic had Pat Riley. He had James Worthy. You know, like all the great Larry Bird had Robert and Kevin McHale. You know, like if it wasn't great coaching, it was a great supporting cast, man. You had a great 1 and 2 and 3 guys with you, man, to help you wield those championships.
Did who all did LeBron win championship? Did LeBron win a championship with Pratt?
Black? Nope.
Oh,
Pratt, yeah.
That's in the finals, but
he only won with Lou and Spoelstra. That's it.
Mm.
Wade.
Only
He
coaches
needed
LeBron.
Wade and Bosh, and then he needed, of course, needed Kyrie. And Wade, look at Wade. Wade is a guy that won one pretty much by himself. He had Shaq and all those other guys, but he had Pat Riley.
Though.
Yeah, Pat Riley though.
Pat Riley stepped out of the front office and came and coached.
See what I mean? So who would be like
Tim Duncan had Greg Pop, the great Greg Pop.
Right.
You know? So is Tyronn Lue a great coach like that? Would you say LeBron did it when he won it with Lue?
Ugh.
LeBron had a Robin in Kyrie, so that goes to Ken's point.
Right?
But hell no, Ty Lue ain't no great coach.
That's what I was thinking. He had a Robin, and so did Jordan with Pippen. So who's to say he couldn't have done the same thing?
But they didn't win with Black though. Like they went to the finals with Black, but they didn't win it with Black. It was Lue's whatever he did, shit. That makes
it seem like he didn't do much. I think it just seemed like Lue was the guy that everyone liked over Black.
But they
still got to the finals.
I don't know. I'm gonna give Lue his credit because I know that because I saw the same thing with Black, and the difference was they won. And the difference was the key difference was a change in coaching.
Who was the head coach the first time LeBron went to the finals against the Spurs?
Mike Brown?
Mike Brown, I think.
That was Mike Brown?
Yeah.
Okay. So Mike Brown, David Black, and Ty Lue. What do they all have in common?
LeBron.
Well, I was gonna say they all ain't shit without LeBron. Like that's why I think LeBron is probably the only person you can say that he won the title without a good coach or
like I say, either good coach or you got a great supporting staff. He had D Wade and Chris Bosh in his 4 title runs. He had Kyrie in Cleveland and Kevin Love. So either one or the other.
Yeah, LeBron's the closest to that argument.
And I think, like I said, I just think Michael could have done the same thing. I think he was working his way to that point. Just like he felt like he needed to work out that summer to get stronger to beat Detroit. He was going to figure it out. That he was going to work himself to death to figure it out.
Do you think he would have still got it with Doug Collins being a head coach?
I was thinking he could have. I was thinking he was close with Doug Collins. He could have got over the hump with Doug.
Okay, now we're talking. So now, because how far did they get with Doug Collins? ECF?
Yeah, East Conference Finals. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
and
maybe
that's what I was thinking.
Okay, so I think I'm maybe
his philosophy,
around.
But Doug Collins' philosophy was pretty much give Jordan the ball and get out the way.
Get out the way.
But remember, one of the catalysts for that next year was what? What happened to the Pistons?
You said what again?
I said what happened to the Pistons the next year, and one of the things that helped them get over that hump outside of
Scottie Pippen became Scottie Pippen,
and the Pistons got old.
Yeah, and the Pistons got old.
Pistons got old. Zeke was hurt. So
Zeke had a bad wrist.
Okay. Maybe I'm coming around then. Maybe I'm coming around. If they didn't replace Doug Collins with Phil Jackson and Tex Winters and just left Collins there with the descent of the Pistons in terms of age and just overall talent, the issues they were having that year, they probably still could have beat them. Because they probably still would have been pissed about the net. Because they beat up the Bulls when Doug Collins was there. So they hit the gym before Phil took over, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. All right. I think we're there. I can see it. They probably don't win more than one. So
does Phil Jackson? Where does he rank as far as NBA basketball? Is he number one?
I mean, most people, yeah. I mean, because most people say it because of the rings. It's like
him or Pop.
They say Jordan. He got 6 with Jordan and 5 with Kobe, and 3 with Kobe and Shaq, and then 2 more with Kobe. He got 11. So they're gonna automatically. The field is the default answer, I guess most people would say, because of he got the most rings. But
yeah, I'll say that. Yeah,
I'll go with Pop. I like Pop.
I like Pop too.
I can't argue Pop either. I mean, because look what
Pop did it longer.
he was more consistent long. He was definitely consistent longer.
Pop did more with less.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people look at too. They like, oh shit, well, Pop had pretty much Tim Duncan and a whole bunch of international players, like, and he won 5 chips. He won 5 off that. Would have been 6 if it would have been for the Ray Allen Miracle 3. I mean, we'd been looking at Duncan with 6 rings. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
yeah, I don't have no issue with Pop. Like, if you say Phil Jackson, okay. If you say Greg Pop is the greatest, okay. Like, it's one of those things where I'm not gonna like look and be like, oh hell no, automatic answer is Phil or automatic answer Greg Pop. Like, you can't go wrong with neither one of those answers, in my opinion.
No.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I never really seen Jordan get this emotional. It was like a high and low, because like that conversation they were talking about with the when they were in the finals against the Seattle Supersonics, and him going against Gary Payton. That was probably one of my favorite parts of the most recent episodes. What did y'all really think that? Did Gary Payton really think that he had it over Jordan?
Oh, he still think that, yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he still think that.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't gonna change his mind either.
I guarantee you Jordan was thinking in his head he wanted to get back on that court right at that moment too.
Yep. But because because Jordan went 6 of 19, he has evidence to support him feeling that way. Even though Jordan can, and I guess what he was alluding to was being up 3-0, thinking about winning that championship, and of course celebrating without his father. So I think that's kind of what he was saying when he said he had other things on his mind.
That's exactly what he was talking about.
Yeah, but Gary Payton ain't gonna hear that shit.
Hey, I love what he told George Carlin. He was like, man, fuck all that shit. I'm gonna do me. Why did George Carlin, after going down 2 games, I would switch the game plan up. But he went down 0-3, and then that's when GP had to be like, all right, bro, fuck all this shit. It's either do or die right now.
Because you lost the first 2 on the road.
Yeah.
And you were coming back home. So you don't think you're gonna lose that 3rd game at home. And I think it was 2-3-2 format, right?
Yeah. I think so then, yeah.
Yeah.
So that probably has something to do with it.
But I still would have. I would have been thinking about in-game adjustments and stuff like that. I can't recall, but I would at least tried it a little bit to see. You know what I'm saying? I might would have gave him a quarter.
Yeah,
that's crazy. It's crazy too, because that closeout game that they won, Jordan was 5 for 19, only shot 26%. It was 11 for 12 at the free throw line.
Wow!
I guarantee you that eats at him to this day.
It probably does, but I mean, what I want to talk about before we get out of here was a moment that people forget even happened. The Nick Anderson steal.
Oh wow!
Yep.
And then
you talking about in '95?
Yep.
Yeah.
People thought this man was infallible, and then the steal happened, and then he missed the shot.
Yep.
And then of course Nick Anderson turned around and said 45.
Yeah, he ended up being a joke.
Yeah, he turned around and messed up by talking too much, and then he messed up. But yeah, what I liked about that, even though Jordan more than made up for it.
Oh yeah, we already know what happened after that '95 playoffs.
Yeah. We know what happened, but it's just interesting, for people like to think that this man didn't make any mistakes in clutch moments of the game. And it was kind of cool for them to highlight that and show that. But they also showed that even though he made those mistakes, all that did was add fuel to the fire, and then we know what happened after that.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I think that reminded me of that. I forgot what documentary it was with talking about Shaq and how his early years before he switched over to LA, and like how I didn't realize how great Orlando was for that brief period of time. They even took down the Bulls, but I just feel like that steal is the reason why Jordan got 3 more titles after that. Like him losing in 95 was like, all right, this what made me realize I need to get back in shape. I can't just come back. I'm not that great enough to just come back from playing baseball to dominate again.
And then he came back and had one of the best NBA seasons of all time, man. That's crazy.
Exactly.
72-10.
Mm-hmm.
And swept the Orlando Magic the next year. Not just come down close, swept them. Didn't even give him a shot. And this was still a healthy Penny at the time. A healthy Penny and a healthy Shaq. And he came back and swept them.
Who was the one that said 45 ain't 23?
Nick Anderson.
Nick Anderson. Oh yeah, that'll be forever etched in his on his resume.
No, whatever be etched is him missing them free throws in game 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
The NBA Finals against Houston.
That's what's gonna be.
That's what's gonna be.
But you know what? What I learned from this documentary is he might not even say that to Jordan. Jordan could have made that up.
Jordan got motivated by every little thing, man. Any little thing will motivate Jordan, man, and just he snaps. He go off.
Horace Grant said that. He said that.
But you know what? Jordan could have told Horace Grant that he said that. That's my thing. Jordan used whatever.
You talking about that story?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard that story before, and that he didn't really say that. Jordan made it up in his head to play better next game, so he could take all the shots in the first half.
Right. He said I'm a score what he made in a whole game and a half. He was 1 point shy away. This man is Yeah, I can't wait to see how they close it out. Because we got 9 and 10 coming up. And then we'll be done.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna hate to see it go.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a hate to see it go, but it's definitely a great, well produced, well thought out documentary. I mean, yeah, I definitely can't deny that. I definitely enjoy watching this. Like I said, the basketball fandom in me is loving this. The Detroit in me is like, fuck Michael Jordan. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm still not. I'm not gonna be stupid. My eyes are not stupid. Jordan is freaking great. Okay, there's no way I'm gonna deny that. No matter as much of a Detroit guy I am, I'm not gonna deny the greatness. I'm not gonna let my personal feelings deny how great and how savage this man Michael Jordan was on the court and what he did to the game of basketball. So, I mean, yeah, no, I'm taking all that out. I'm appreciating this as just a basketball fanatic, man, and just to see how Michael Jordan thinks and just see how he mentally prepares for shit, and how he takes over. And like what Ken said earlier, how he just so confidently will say things and the shit will happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, the shit's crazy, man.
Hey, man, I was watching Sports Center after, and I watched them. They played a clip of him. I don't know if y'all talked about it. I can't even remember just now, but he was saying how he wouldn't, like, why he did what he did. He was just saying it at that moment, and he got emotional about it. And he told him to break. He was like, cut it. I don't know if y'all saw that part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But just the raw emotion in that man still got it. Like he's still the same.
Yeah.
And that's just hard to believe that this man wakes up every day to compete.
I remember that story about him punching Steve Kerr. I thought that was like, oh yeah, they falling apart. They ain't gonna win. And then of course, But
I love how Steve Kerr like embraces that. Like that's like his badge of honor that he got punched in the face by Michael Jordan.
But it showed Jordan a lot because Kerr didn't back down where Scott Burrell did.
Yeah.
And so he was like, okay, now these guys are different. Like I can go to war with these guys because he didn't know them like that.
I saw Shannon Sharp calling Jordan a bully today. I looked at Undisputed and I ended up turning it off. He just kept calling him a bully and saying like how it wouldn't fly. He wouldn't be able to do that to players now. And he knew who to pick on. Like Charles Barkley said that he picked on the right ones. And Skip turned around and said, and I appreciated Skip for saying this. He's like, Charles, he came at you. You know what I'm saying? So what are you saying? He talks about you to this day to your face. So why would you think Jordan would he picked on who was around him to make them better, but he wasn't showing no favoritism? It wasn't nobody Jordan wouldn't say nothing to.
Again, he stayed with in the last episodes before that with him going against Patrick Ewing, like he was coming at Pac before and after the game. Like he was always, he had that same energy for everybody.
I mean, Jordan was a bully, but I don't think he punched Steve Kerr anymore. I don't think he picked on Steve Kerr anymore. So people use the word bully. They throw it around as a negative, in a negative way, and I understand it. But I mean, he was. We saw it. But he, it is what it is. They won championship.
I will say this: just because your feelings hurt doesn't mean I'm a bully.
Right.
Like, to me, it's just like sometimes it's more about you and the lack of confidence or the lack of energy or the lack of effort you're giving that makes you realize, especially when you're seeing it from in the same room on the same team every night. If that man is demanding stuff that he, again, like he said, that he would demand of himself out of you, maybe that's more about you and the lack of, motivation you had.
And to your point, like Scott Burrell understood it and he was just too nice to do anything outside of that. Steve Kerr fought back and both of them went on, but neither one of them, in this particular environment, because sports are hard, especially at that level, went on to do anything detrimental to themselves that we know of. Now, when you get outside of that in certain environments, bullying is very negative. And
right.
But, in this particular instance, this is just competitive sports at a high level. So, but Skip did say that, but Skip turning on Dak right now. So I don't want to hear anything Skip has to say.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, we'll leave Skip where he at.
I didn't see that part. But forget Skip. But
but I got your point, though.
Yeah, right. But I just, like I said, I grew up in a gym where, I don't know about y'all, but where I come from, the older guys were tougher on us, and they were tough on us growing up, and that helped make me be a man and helped me be more competitive. So I appreciated that so-called bullying, what they would call bullying today. That helped me out. But that goes to show you too why a player like Jordan can't be a coach, because he is pushing for excellence and using himself as a barometer. Mm-hmm. Players like that, great players like that, you'll never reach expectation. You'll never meet where they're trying to get you to go. There's no way. So that's why your coaches are better. That's why it's hard to find one of those greats to be a good coach. Larry Bird did it, but a lot of them won't make it as coaches. Jordan wouldn't make it as a coach. Mm-hmm. And it's for that reason.
He ain't got enough patience for it.
No, not at all.
That's what I was saying. He'll trade a player right after one conversation.
Shout out to BJ Armstrong too.
You said what?
I said shout out to BJ Armstrong too, because I remember that game where he.
Yeah, I didn't know BJ was talking shit like that.
They all did.
He played with him. Why would he do that? Dude?
No, it was something somebody said, and I respect it. Somebody said that. God, who said it? He said that people were afraid of Jordan. So even though they had legit reasons, who said that? He was like, we didn't back down from. Oh, Gary Payton, I think, said it. Yep, Gary Payton said it. He said that the thing about Jordan is he intimidated a lot of people. He said, I wasn't afraid or intimidated with him. So put me on.
I know Gary Payton. Yeah, I know Gary Payton wasn't.
I know, but the point is that a lot of people, and he earned that reputation, and it took a certain type of character and a moxie to be able, like, man, I don't give a damn is that Jordan, but at some point he's gonna make you bow down to his will. Charles Barkley learned, and Gary Payton eventually learned too.
Right.
At some point, you don't have to be afraid of me, but you still gonna go down the same way regardless. But it makes you so. But I did like that he said that though.
I enjoyed this. I've been enjoying all these episodes. So that's really all I got to say. But this is increasing Jordan's legacy for me.
See, now you see why we call y'all soft. This new generation soft, man.
That's not my generation. It ends after That's just, Z. That's after Z. Because I grew up just like that. It was never sweet. Like when it comes, especially in sports. Sports is growing up like how I did. Like it was always tough, even on each other, whether it's from the older guys or even us. Like we all wanted us to be the best and be great, and that meant a lot of aggression and friction. But that's what made us. That's how we pushed ourselves. That's how we got better. Especially after getting your ass beat like that, you want to come back and beat their ass.
Yeah. All right. Well. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna get out of here. I will say that I just pulled up Bleacher Report, and yeah, there was the call that we talked about earlier. They had it. LeBron, CP3, AD, KD, Giannis, Kawhi, all them agreed the NBA season should resume. And Yahoo broke the news. Steph, Dame, and Russ were on the call as well. So
they coming back.
We'll see what happens from here. But yeah, they trying to play, man. I'm telling y'all. I keep trying.
I understand they're trying to play. It's just that if somebody gets sick,
hey, they'll deal with it.
They make them like these are the people that said they wanted to come back. Go play with all them.
Yep. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, man. We'll things still we're still trying to figure some things out on our end. I know it was a Tuesday at 3:30 or whatever, but we appreciate you guys being flexible. So that's gonna do it for us this week. We'll catch you guys next time. We out. Peace.
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 And you saw that